Another Dooley Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, and welcome in. I don't know why I blinked when that all of a sudden I went, who's that guy? Welcome into another Dooley Noted Podcast, presented as always by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. We got a lot to talk about today. I don't know if we can squeeze it all into an hour, and we got the head ball coach, as he does on Mondays. He comes in here and sits down. I got a lot of strategy questions for him, especially about the Super Bowl. And by the way, Friday, Andy Staples is going to visit us here again, as he has done before. We love having him from The Athletic. So that'll be a great show as well. And we appreciate all of you for being part of this show and for listening, watching. I've had people email me song suggestions because they missed my old back nine, but the back nine still appears on WRUF.com. So every Monday, in fact, I just did one, and I took one of the song suggestions. I'm meeting somebody here on Friday because he won the Leonardo's at Millhopper Quick Picks a couple months ago, and we finally are going to get together, and we're going to have a beer here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. So it's good that we get a lot of interaction, too. I think people really, kind of understand what this podcast is. It's good guests. It's me talking nonsense, trying to have fun, but also being strong with our opinions. And I'm going to give you an opinion right now that's kind of a strong one. And I'm not sure anybody is going to take this very well. But it's kind of sad to think about that, in my opinion, Florida basketball and football, the two most important sports, are at the bottom end of what Florida's good at right now. Now, the reason I say that is because you saw another weekend, softball gets off to that start, which was ridiculous. Grand slam to beat a ranked Michigan, 15th ranked Michigan team. They go undefeated. Baseball's getting ready to start. I mean, I don't know how good they're going to be, and we'll see. They got a young pitching staff, so it's kind of hard to say how good they're going to be. But, golf does what they do. They go out and shoot ridiculous low score. Fred Biondi wins, what was he, like a million under par? So you had that. We all know what happened with gymnastics. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but gymnastics with its win. Women's basketball plays tonight. They have been doing incredible things. Who are you disappointed in? Well, soccer, but first-year coach, who didn't inherit the greatest players but does that really bother you? No. The sports that matter the most are still football and basketball, and that's where Florida is lacking. Now, Billy Napier hopefully will be better, but there are no guarantees with Billy Napier. That's what people keep asking me questions about Billy Napier. And I always say, I have no idea. Do I like what he's doing now? Yes. Have I seen him coach a game that in the SEC? No. So I'm not trying to dispel that he's a good coach at all. But I don't know whether he's going to be a good coach at this level, at this university. Nobody knows the answer to that question. Everybody can say they know. Scott Strickland can say he knows. And I think he believes he knows that this guy's going to be special, but doesn't mean he is. I mean, we knew Steve Spurrier was going to be different and was going to be better maybe than some of the coaches have been to. We had no idea what was coming. We had no idea Urban Meyer was going to win 2 national championships in 3 years. None. There were some we had an idea about. We kind of knew that Ron Zook could not win, that Ron Zook had no chance to win. That 9-3 was going to get yelled at, and he couldn't even do that. I thought Will Muschamp would be successful. Wasn't I? Thought I've forgotten his name. Dan Mullen, who, by the way, it looks like. Don't be surprised if he ends up on the. And this is weird, on the Jaguar staff, even though Urban's gone now from the Jaguars. That is weird, but a little birdie told me that. So anyway, getting back to the point, I don't know whether Billy Napier's going to be a good coach. I like everything he's done so far. I like every part of his plan. But we don't really know what it means. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We can only go by what everybody's saying, and we'll find out. We'll find out. I don't know that we'll know in the spring. But I think the bigger point is, it's kind of stunning that Florida's gotten to that point where men's basketball and football are the sports where they're pretty mediocre. And unfortunately, you saw on Saturday, if you watched the men's basketball game, what a good team, a really good team, a team that could win it all, looks like playing against a team that has no chance to win it all. It doesn't mean that when they play here that maybe the place comes alive and Florida finds another gear and stuns them and upsets them. But you saw the reality of it. Florida played bad. Kentucky is at a different level, even when they lost Ty Washington for a while, or for the game. For that, he'll be back. He'll be fine. Florida, I mean, obviously losing Appleby, but yeah, I'm tired of hearing that they're dealing with a lot of adversity. Okay, they are. Okay, what are you going to do? Not play? Quit playing the games? At the same time, everybody wants to jump on Mike White because they lost a game after winning 4 in a row. 4 in a row against bad teams. They're playing a team on Tuesday night they need to beat, but it's a road game. It's a quad one win if you can win it. But, I mean, I'm sitting here right now, and I go, Florida's not making the NCAA tournament. They just aren't. I don't think they can beat teams that give them any problems. They did earlier. I mean, Ohio State, you watched Liddell, maybe you did, Saturday. Guy was unbelievable. Or maybe it was Sunday. I think it was Saturday. It's turned out that FSU stinks. I mean, they're awful. I don't know why they're so bad. I really don't. So Florida doesn't have any real big wins. The Ohio State one's the only one. They're down to 49th in the net. They drop. Here's a weird thing. They drop when they win, and they drop when they lose. They just drop. But it wasn't the biggest story of the weekend. Was Florida losing? I'm trying to read my writing here, which is that's what it was. I already made that point. The softball team, what a great start for them to get off to. Certainly, women's tennis beat a ranked top 20 team, which is amazing. They're off to a good start. And this is what I'm talking about. Gymnastics, you know what happened there? Nia Reed with a 10. They go to the last. Here it is, 4 versus 5. They're tied going to the last rotation. And what happens? She gets a 10. They win. Had the fourth highest score of the year. These young ladies, these women are incredible. They're really good, and I hope they can keep it going. We know women's basketball is playing tonight, so we got all that going on. All right, I want to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl, but I'll get to a lot of it in some of our other things like the Hand Law 3 things, and as well as the Alex Wesley Construction 12-pack. We're going to do a football wrap-up on the Alex Wesley Construction 12-pack, 12 things that we have to look back on. Of course, we do have the Adams Ribco to go coming up, the Gator of the weekend. I don't know if it'll surprise you, but it's interesting. And the Hesser and Kipke Monday spreads, which we always enjoy doing. And I might make a bold prediction today. I don't know if today's the day to do it. I might make a bold prediction about something. So we got all that to talk about, and I hope you guys had a great weekend. I did. My wife. Let me just say, I feel bad for you guys, all you guys out there. Today's Valentine's Day. It's a big deal, right? I feel bad for all of you. Not because you have to get flowers, not because you have to get candy, not because you have to get a card, not because you have to be extra nice to your wife. Those things should happen anyway. I feel sorry for you that you're not married to my wife, because she is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I used to say the best day of my life was playing Augusta National. Not anymore. I've come to really realize it in my old age, how lucky I am to have her. And another guy who's very lucky to have his wife is going to join us next. That is Steve Spurrier. Jerry, of course, is everybody's second mom. Happy Valentine's Day, honey. We actually celebrated ours Friday. I made this unbelievable spaghetti and meatballs dinner and had a bunch of stuff. I bought a $70 bottle of Cabernet, $70. You know how much we drank of it? Because, you don't want to just use that up in one. It's gone. It went down hard like Billy the Kid. But we had a great time. And so tonight, because I've got to do radio after this. In fact, today, if you want to see Robbie Andrew, we're on WRUF. Jeff's not going to be there, so it'll be me and Robbie. And it'll be a lot of fun as well. Okay, that's going to do it for right now. We'll take a break. When we come back, Coach Spurrier is going to join us. We'll talk to him about strategy. How do you was there too much zone defense by the Bengals last night? Stuff like that. I'm going to get into some deep stuff with Steve Spurrier here on, I forgot what the show was called. Here on Another, can you edit that out for the rebroadcast? Another Dooley Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
We are here at the University of Florida, where Arbor and Alberta are competing in the Gator penalty shootout. Arbor is ready to stop the shot at all costs. What a disaster! Luckily, Meldon Law is the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. If you have suffered any injury, do not worry, because Meldon Law is going to help you with your recovery. Meldon Law doesn't back down until they reach their goal!
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Another Dooley Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444. Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What gave you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Okay, and welcome back to another Dooley Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios right here at Steve Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where, Coach, you were here yesterday for a long time doing the big Super Bowl party. You can call it Super Bowl party now, right?
Well, the pregame party, I guess. We signed a few autographs, took a few pictures, and talked a little Super Bowl here and there. One of my trivia questions was, what Gator quarterback
started a Super Bowl game?
Rex Grossman.
Rex Grossman. Some
Yep.
guy got it right away, pretty quick. Then we had another question that you might throw out there occasionally. How many Gators have been head coaches in the NFL? How many Gators?
I know Kay Stevenson.
Kay
is one.
Stevenson's one nobody knows about.
Yeah, well,
you're right.
I'm on his radio show all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he calls me up and has me on there.
Yeah.
Kay Stevenson, Malarkey.
Malarkey at
Shane
Jacksonville.
Gailey.
Shan Gailey was Cowboy head coach.
How
about-
Lindy and Fonnie?
Lindy was the 1989 NFL Coach of the
He
Year.
was.
And
Steve Spurrier.
and me, yeah, that's 5 of them right there. That's
that
all.
it?
That's all we can think of. There's somebody find another one somewhere.
Yeah. Whoop.
That thing just fell off. Oh,
Well, I can still talk.
Yeah. that thing just fell off, didn't it?
Yep. Hey, we have issues here sometimes, you know, but usually we don't. All right. So let me ask you this. Now you saw you watched the Super Bowl, obviously. There were a lot of questionable calls, but whoever wins made all the right calls. Whoever loses made the wrong calls. But there were a couple that were questionable.
Obviously, the game could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody clearly dominated, and I guess you could say the Rams made one more play or got one more better call at the end of the game
Yeah.
there, those interferences and so forth. So,
It is weird how they didn't call anything the whole
Yeah,
game,
they
and
let
then
them
all of a
play
sudden they called everything there
until
down the
right at the
stretch.
very end. But the last possession when Joe Mixon is their best running back. He's their starter. You know, he should be in the game. The game's on the line. We're making our final drive and this, that, and so the backup player in there. P. Ryan.
Henderson or P. Ryan, yeah, P. Ryan.
Okay, yeah, but he's not as big as thick as Mixon. I think Mixon might could have made that first down, and who knows what after that. But then I think what everybody is questioning, when it's 4th and 1, why are you getting a shotgun? And you give up any threat, pretty much of a run, and so forth, which I agree. But anyway, that's what they did, and they've been Bengals. They've been pretty good making the right calls, but didn't work out yesterday.
Well, the Rams did the opposite in that they did the. You guys used to run this play with John Capella all the time. That little wide receiver goes in motion, you just hand him the ball, and
Yeah.
I mean, I love that play.
Yeah.
You know, and it works. It almost seems to work all the time, and it worked all the time with Capella.
Yeah, do it and then fake it or
Yeah.
something like that, and run wide and I think the Rams ran the play with Cooper Kupp there and made the first down easily. But, a couple of questionable calls by the Bengals there as far as getting in the shotgun. But anyway, sometimes that's just the way it works out.
Now, I mean, a lot of people are questioning, because the Bengals are not a real good man-to-man team, so they played a lot of zone. And it just seemed to me like they were just giving Kupp alleys because I think he's the best player in the league myself.
He is.
He's as good as – I think he should have been the MVP. But if you give him a place to go and get open, he's going to get open every time.
Catches it. Yeah, I tell you what, I got great respect for Matthew Stafford now, a little bit more than in the past. You know, we played against him when he was at Georgia.
Right.
In fact, I think we beat him 2 out of 4 times or something. In fact, this is sort of unbelievable. We held Georgia to 12 points. They had Matthew Stafford, Noshawn Marino at running back, and A.J. Green at wide receiver. And they had to kick 4 field goals. I think this was 2007.
Yeah.
This was 2007. But anyway, Mark Richt was the head coach there. But they've had players at Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
They've had a lot of great ones go to the NFL at running backs, receivers, and so forth. But Matthew Stafford has proven to be the best quarterback. Passing, he throws a beautiful pass, very catchable. And that throw he hit Kupp, in the middle of the zone there.
Oh, beautiful
that last
throw.
drive, that was pure.
Because he had to
pass
go
there.
over a guy and inside a guy,
And he had to sort of hold the linebacker, so he sort of was looking a little right and then zinged it right in that opening, and Kupp was right there.
Yeah, they it was certainly it wasn't a great game to me, but it was at least it was close and it was you didn't know who was going to win till the end. Is that something that you've had just about everything go for you in your life? You got a stadium named after you, got a restaurant named after you, you won a Heisman Trophy, national championship as a coach. Never got to a Super Bowl though. Is that it? Does that ever you ever think about that?
No, not too much. We made playoffs 3 years out at San Fran. Actually, the Dallas Cowboys beat us every year we made the playoffs. But no, that wasn't. I guess that wasn't a great goal of our teams back in those days. We, one game at a time, and made the playoffs a few years. Actually, the Rams, all 3 of those years, the Rams would beat us, but they would lose to somebody else, and we'd come back and win the division. But no, I don't think about that too much.
Well, I just, you weren't going to make it with the Bucks. I know.
Yeah.
That team was not quite built.
But what's unusual also, both home teams got to play their Super Bowl the last 2 years.
And won.
Very, very ironic.
And yet you never got a feeling, like it sounded like there were more Cincinnati fans there than.
That's what everybody said. It was at least 50-50. They said the Cincinnati people came and they screamed and yelled. So it was about a neutral crowd, I think, both sides.
Yeah. And that's not, crowds usually aren't a big factor in that. But it was interesting just to see the dynamic of not being able to run the ball. And also, what would you do with somebody like Aaron Donald if you're an offensive coordinator and this guy is just that good? Yeah. That you have to double team, and even sometimes that doesn't work.
They were trying to double team him the last play. The left guard really did not do a very good job because he had center helping on the inside.
Yeah.
He got beat on the outside. If you get beat on the inside, he had center right there, and Donald just gave him that swim move, and went right around him. And that was the end of the game. That play right there, and it looked like Burrow probably had somewhere to throw it.
Yeah.
If he didn't get sacked.
He ended up getting for the year, and again, I know he played 17 plus 4 playoff games, 21 games, but he got sacked 70 times.
Joe Burrow.
And their offensive line, they've obviously got to make huge upgrades and that. But I said, well, I think Steve might have been close to 70 that one year with the Bucks because you would go back and the rush would be there.
I knew how to get rid of it early now, Pat. And if you notice, almost every time he gets sacked, he gets held up.
Yeah.
You go back, put your foot in the ground and throw it. You can usually throw it somewhere. I thought since he ran too much on first down.
Yeah.
They wanted to run the ball. Well, everybody wants to run the ball, but you run on first down and 2nd and 10 all the time. That don't make sense. I thought they should have mixed up the run-pass ratio on first down a little bit more also.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, what did you think of the halftime show? That was probably not down in your genre.
Well, Evan McPherson watched the whole show.
He did.
You hear about that? That's the first time I've ever heard of a player saying, Coach, I'm not going in at halftime. Y'all draw up those X's and O's. I'm going to stay out here and watch the halftime show.
Well, you knew at that point there wasn't going to be a fake field goal because if
you didn't have to worry about any fake field goals or anything, I guess. But, halftime shows, they get bigger and bigger every year. So it was a little different and entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. Vernon Hargraves, that situation.
That's pretty stupid, man.
I mean, that is
ridiculous. Yeah.
There's part of me that kind of goes, well, Marco Wilson threw a shoe. This guy ran on the field. What is it? It's becoming knucklehead you instead of DBU. I mean, what is? But why would you think that? Why would you think it was okay to run on the field?
I was listening to Steve Russell, by the way. And he said, well, maybe Vernon just didn't know you couldn't do that. And then he said, well, maybe it was a very, very dumb thing for him to do. Now, in the rule book, they don't say that, but you never see anybody do it. So when he's running out there, I don't know how he could think this is okay.
Yeah.
Because nobody ever does that. And, that was a 10-yard penalty instead of the 20-yard
really
line.
Hurt him.
10,
yeah,
after the interception. But that's bad play there.
Yeah, I remember Trey Grimes did that 2 years ago where Shorter caught a touchdown pass in the corner, and he wasn't in the game, so he ran all the way down, and he's jumping all over him. They flagged him. They said, you can't come down this.
Only the 11 on the field.
But he didn't come all the way across the field in a not dressed in a jersey or anything like that. I mean, how do you handle – and I know that every case is different as a disciplinarian, as a head coach. Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you handle that? Because you dealt with Steven Garcia, you dealt with some guys who got in trouble here. Mm-hmm. But how do you? I mean, is it different for everyone?
Oh, it could be a little different for everyone. If you've got a player that constantly is doing dumb things over and over again, you may encourage him to transfer, go somewhere else. Then again, it depends on how good a player he is. If he's a great player and he does a dumb mistake, man, you can't do that anymore, okay? But John Wooden always said, you don't treat everyone the same. You don't treat all players equal. You treat them the way they've earned and deserve to be treated. So if they're a knucklehead and they do things over and over again, you got to dismiss them from the team, actually. Good players, hey, I'm giving you one last chance. Don't do that anymore.
Right.
Things like that.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of an interesting phenomenon, and we see it all more and more in football. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to understand.
Well, you don't see Alabama players do those.
No, you
things.
don't.
So
Yeah.
And before we give everybody a green light, that's okay. That's all right. When Alabama players start doing things like that, then you can say, well, that happens sometimes. But they don't do stuff like that.
And I hate to say it, but the one game I watched Louisiana play this year, there was some of that going on, and we have to see how Billy's going to handle it. Because I've said this over and over, Coach, and I mean, you've had a lot of conversations with Billy Napier. I've had none, okay? I haven't met him yet. Mm-hmm. But I think you think a lot of him so far, but we still haven't seen him coach a game in the SEC.
That's true.
It's hard to tell what's going to happen with a guy.
Yeah, it's all wait and see, as we all know. I think he's, said all the right things. He's accessible to the media, which I think all the media people like and feel very comfortable around him. Now, whether hiring an extra 30, 40 people helps us, I say if it helps us recruit like Alabama and Georgia and Texas A&M now, then that's a good thing to hire 30 or 40 people. But if we keep recruiting where we've been recruiting, then I don't know what all those extra people are going to help us win.
Right.
But time will tell. Time will tell how it all works out.
And I know you're a big fan of all the sports around here, and it feels like football and men's basketball are lagging a little behind everybody else right now because gymnastics, huge win over LSU was incredible. Women's basketball, what they're doing, they played tonight against Auburn. And obviously softball starts their season. They hit a grand slam to beat a ranked team,
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, our women's sports are all very good now that basketball is up there. They usually were the bottom ones all the time around the University of Florida, and now Kelly Ray.
I have problems with it
Finley,
too. Yeah.
Kelly Ray Finley. Yeah.
She's
got them playing. Oh, they have such a wonderful attitude when they play. Everybody's happy. They play with effort and smarts and really enjoy playing the game. And she's done a sensational job. And hopefully we'll get her hired here real soon, hopefully. Mm-hmm.
I got to ask you this before I let you go. I know you watched the Waste Management Open this weekend. What did you think of those displays that were on the course? Because
yeah,
I mean, it was excessive, but my thing is, it's one hole one time a year. It's okay. I'm okay with it.
One of the guys said the noise is fine. This hole we're going to scream and yell while you're hitting. If you don't like it, then don't play in the tournament. So that's no big deal. But when they throw all the beer cans on the green, somebody said, "Now wait a minute, because suppose they put some dents in the green or something, and maybe affected the play." I think they maybe tell them, hey, you can throw your beers up in the air and splash each other, but don't throw them out on the ballpark, like a football field. You can't throw stuff out there and so forth. I remember when the team was going to the Orange Bowl, and when they thought it was halfway over, they throw oranges out on the field. And then, of course, Lane Kiffin got hit by a golf ball, didn't he, in Tennessee this year?
He did.
So, I don't think you should throw stuff out on the golf course on the green. But yelling and screaming, I think that's excellent.
Our guy Billy Horschel had a good
tournament. God, I saw him three-putt that one hole when he had it going.
I know.
Yeah, they had a birdie putt that just barely missed, went about 5 feet by, and that sort of took him out right there. But, golf is they're very popular. TV ratings are really good. And we got a lot of the same guys up there, and then every now and then there's a different guy. I was glad to see Scotty Scheffler win that thing. He's been hanging around near the top. And,
He's a Texas guy, right?
Yeah. Fort Worth, Texas. In fact, he shot 59 on a golf course out there in Fort Worth that I actually played with my son Scotty when he was coaching with Bobby Stoops in the XFL a couple of years ago.
What did you shoot there?
I shot about 82 or 3 of that day, I think. I made a bunch of pars here and there.
By the way, any excitement level for the USFL starting up now?
You know, I heard on the radio they're starting up.
Yeah.
I haven't.
I think they start in April.
Yeah, they're all going to live in Birmingham, and they got 2 stadiums there to play in, and they got plenty of TV networks to cover them. I think NBC and Fox, I think, are the 2 networks. So, yeah, there'll be some football to watch.
Not like the old USFL. The old USFL was great football.
Yeah, it was true football.
Yeah.
You know, you travel and play teams, you know, home and away and all that.
But there were a lot of good players. I think there were like 58 guys that made All-Pro.
Jim Kelly, Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
Reggie White. Man.
Sam Mills. Yeah.
All-time great NFL guys started out in the USFL. So it was a good league for a while. And then
Eric Trevelyan. Remember
Eric was a good one. I thought he'd make it in the NFL, but
Yeah.
he for some reason he didn't make it. Yeah, okay.
That's a great. By the way, it's a great. If you ever get to see the video of that season, that was when obviously John Bassett was in bad shape, but it's really emotional.
Yeah, that was an emotional.
Yeah.
John Reese played super.
He did.
He threw for over 4,000 yards 2 years in a row. At one time, we were the only team in the history of football that had a 4,000-yard passer and 2,000-yard rushers.
Wow.
Greg Boone and Gary Anderson were our 2 rushers.
Gary Anderson was a
gained
great
over
player.
1,000.
There's another guy who went on to have a great NFL career with the Chargers. In fact, I was at that game where he dove over the goal line to win that game.
Very talented player.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, we'll let you go, and we'll be back with more of Another Dooley Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Another Duly Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What gave you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. to go. Come on down and enjoy it. Okay, and welcome back to another Dooley Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Shakow and Mercantile. I did it again. I'll get better at this. From the Meldon Law Gator Studios. We appreciate Shakow and Mercantile, and they were great sponsors all through football season, and we'll talk to them again down the road. But right now it's the Meldon Law Gator Studios. We got a lot of things to get to, including the Leonardo's at Millhopper Quick Picks, which we do every Monday and Friday here on the show. We had a good one, I thought, going this week with it was Florida, or I can't remember what it was. It was the Super Bowl. That's what it was. It was like who was going to win, but the Rams won by 3, but they were favored by 4 or 4.5, depending on what you would look. So if you had the Bengals, you won. And the over-under on Evan McPherson. Well, I thought Evan McPherson might actually hit the over because he was at 8 fairly early. I thought he's going to make the field goal that sends it to overtime. And so it'll be the over. But anyway, only 2 of you qualified. So nobody qualified last week. 2 of you this week, George Luttrell and Bob Julian. Bob Julian actually is the winner of our one of our contests, and he's who I'm meeting here on Friday to have a beer and give him his prizes. So this week, or today, I should just say, Tuesday, Florida is playing Texas A&M. Texas A&M, the bottom line with them is they've been struggling. They lost 8 in a row, I think it is now. Obviously, they're good enough to beat Florida. This is the same old story. And you guys are probably tired of me saying it, but it's the same. It's the same thing. They're good enough to beat Florida. Florida's certainly good enough to beat them. I don't know what's going to happen. The home crowd, it affected Florida. It clearly at Rupp Arena. I don't know if it'll affect them in this game or not. I don't know. I don't know anything. Look, I don't know what's going to happen with this game. But the bottom line is, you just got to tell me who is going to win that game, Florida or Texas A&M. Pretty simple. At Texas A&M Tuesday night, and by the way, also Tuesday night, the quarterback club, who good friends of ours, and they'll be back on board at some point. They're going to have Katie Turner speak. They had to move it up. Those of you who watch this podcast and aren't aware of this, they had to move it up. There was a issue with the hotel where they have it at the Best Western, which they do a great job there. So Katie Turner, I'm looking forward to meeting her. And just talking to her about everything she's trying to do and what it is she's doing exactly. So that'll be tomorrow night at 6:30, I think. So those of you who are members of the quarterback club or who want to join, it's a great club to be a part of. They just got confirmation Urban's going to come speak. I mean, they do a great job of getting speakers, and you get to listen to me like you don't listen to me enough. We do have a YouTube question. Florida opening this from Adam. With Florida opening with Utah and Kentucky, they could easily be looking at 0-2. When was the last time Florida started a season with 2 losses? Well, that's a great question, and I don't have a media guide here to look it up. I know, obviously, they didn't in 1979. 1979, I think the second game was their tie in the 0-10-1 season. I'll have to look that up for you, Adam. I don't know that there have been many of those. I mean, they've had a couple of 0-1 seasons back in the 40s and stuff, so I'll try to find that information out for you on that. Okay, here we go. It is time for 3 things with Hand Law. We always appreciate our double sponsor, Hand Law. 3 Things is presented by Hand Law, a Florida law firm which helps clients with government. You can learn more about Hand Law by visiting its website at www.hand.law. The firm is available for consultation in Jacksonville. We appreciate Chris Hand and all the things they do for us. Let's start out number 1. I was going to save the Waste Management Open, but I wanted to talk to Steve about it. We appreciate his input. I think it's fine to do that once. Like if you did that, if every golf tournament became that, and I think that was a big fear, is if they let it go nuts and you saw the players. It was a great, I don't know, is it a meme or a GIF or whatever, where somebody took the two players who took their shirts off and started waving them around and said, "This is us at the Dooley last year." Probably accurate. But okay, once on one hole, once a year, it's okay. Throwing all the cups down there, I had no problem with it. It was a little excessive. They had to clean it up 3 or 4 times, but come on, man. These guys are living in this pristine environments where they can't let anything bother them. It's nice to see. Listen, I think actually it was I'm losing my train of thought. Begins with Brandel Chambly, who said, "Look, this is a new generation, man. What are you going to do? You're just going to stay behind? You're going to not do things like this?" You know, when I did that story for the Wall Street Journal, one of the things that we talked about was trying to change the way golf is perceived. In other words, if you first come out there and you get in a trap and you're stuck in the trap and they have to send a search party for you, you're not enjoying your day. So should you do if you're just starting? Take the ball out of the trap. Don't hit it out of there. Hit it out of somewhere else. You eventually will get to the point where you can do that. There's a lot of things golf needs to do to kind of keep growing the game, and I agree with Brandel on that totally. I thought it was fine. But look, if you did it next week at Riviera, I would go, hey, that's enough of that. I don't want that. I don't want that all the time. One time, one hole. And one thing I love about that tournament, like I said the other day, it is my 6th favorite tournament. Behind the 4 majors, the players, and that, then it would be that. I played that course, and we played it. They actually had set up that amphitheater already for the tournament because we played about 2 or 3 weeks before when we were out there for the national championship game. So it was pretty cool, and just trying to imagine what the fans were like there. All right, number 2, anybody in the world have a better night than Van Jefferson last night? Oh, you may say Cooper Kupp. He was the MVP. You may say Aaron Donald. He was a defensive MVP. He was so emotional after the game, and love Aaron Donald, great player. But Van Jefferson had a nice game, did some nice things. He was open, and they missed him a couple of times, but he did catch a few passes and did well. He won a Super Bowl ring. Van Jefferson, happy. Oh, wait a minute. His baby was born right after the game. His wife had to be carried out in a stretcher. What a trooper. She was going to be at that game no matter what, even though she was about to have a baby. She had the baby, and there was a great picture of him holding that baby after the game. And what a great day for Van Jefferson. And let me tell you what, in my opinion, couldn't happen to a better guy. I loved that guy. He was only here a couple of years, but, man, it was so much fun talking to him. And congratulations to him, and obviously congratulations to Brandon Powell, who, I tell you what, Brandon Powell, you could say, well, he returned – it felt like there was a punt like every 5 minutes. But let's say he returned 5 punts for 19 yards or whatever it was. I don't know what the stats were. The bottom line was he caught a lot of punts that could have been fair catches, or he could have let hit, and he ran up and caught them and got a couple of yards out of it. He helped their field position. I give Brandon Powell credit for doing a good job last night, even though the stats wouldn't show it. So, but Van Jefferson, best night ever. That's a night you're never going to forget. I can't imagine what could happen to you the rest of your life that you would remember more than, oh, yeah, well, I won a Super Bowl and my baby was born. Other than that, what else happened? I can't think of it. Finally, number 3, look, I have been talking about Cooper Kupp to people for a long time. He was on my fantasy guy. He won a bunch of games for me, but it's not about that. And the one thing I will say, like, I don't think I'm going to do fantasy football next year because I kind of fell out of watching the game for the game's sake. I became all about stats. No, don't score. Get on the 1 yard line. Let my guy score. And I don't like that. I got out of it before because of that, and I may get out of it again. The one thing it did, though, is I got to appreciate how good Cooper Kupp is. This was an unbelievable season. When you think about it, he caught 178 passes. That's a lot of passes. Over 2,000 yards, 22 touchdowns. He was the MVP of the Super Bowl. And to me, he was the MVP of the season. What was it, Aaron Rodgers? Come on. Cooper Kupp was the best player. And you can make an argument that Aaron Donald's the best player in football. So they've got maybe the best player in football, a guy who was, I think, the best player in football this year, had the best season, and should have been the MVP. And then they bring in all these other guys, Von Miller, and all these other great players. They know what they're doing. And the Rams aren't going away. And now, of course, Matt Stafford, now he's got the confidence of doing that. Of course, those quarterbacks got hit a lot in that game. Cooper Kupp, though, is my new favorite player of all time. For now. We'll see. But no, I think he's the greatest. So that is our hand law of 3 things. And maybe I've never worn a jersey in my life. Have you ever worn a jersey to a game or anything like that? Like a player jersey? I've never done that. But I might wear a Cooper Kupp. That would be pretty cool. I could do that. All right, it is time right now for our Alex Wesley Construction 12-pack. And what we're going to do on the, of course, Alex Wesley Construction, love where you live. What we're going to do on the Alex Wesley Construction 12-pack today is we're going to kind of wrap up football season. College is over, as we know. Pro football is over as well. So here's what happened this year, pretty much. Number 1, the Dogs ruled. Georgia won the national championship. Matthew Stafford won the Super Bowl. It's a Georgia world, and we have to live in it. We don't like living in it. We don't want to live in it anymore. It'll be over soon. As soon as their men's basketball team loses in the SEC tournament and gets eliminated. But you got to give them credit, man. They did. Number 2, the leash is getting shorter and shorter on coaches. Well, it's pretty clear about that, whether you're in the NFL or in college. If you don't have a good year, you can be gone quickly. Brian Harsin barely escaped at Auburn. The boosters got in charge there, and I guess in the end they couldn't find anything on his phone. That was the argument. They couldn't find any damning things. Where's Hugh Freeze's burner phone? We need that. We can find something on that. So, it's just so obvious. With what happened with Dan Mullen, with what happened with Urban Meyer, with what happened with – I know all the circumstances are different, but people have no trouble getting rid of coaches anymore if they think it's time. You saw what happened with Brian Flores. And the reason is because money's not a problem, man. The SEC doesn't worry about it. NFL, you think the NFL worries about it? They don't worry about it. Number 3 is that college football is a mess right now. It doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's not great games. It doesn't mean they're not making a lot of money. But we're all sitting here. We have no idea what's going on with NIL. We have no feel for it. The transfer portal seems to have soured some people on it. There is a problem in college football, and I don't know that there are answers to it. Number 4 is the Napier plan. You either have bought into it completely, have bought into it some, or you're not going to buy into it. I don't think there are many of you out there, that third category. I think most people have bought into it, and now we see phase 2, which is identity, establishing your identity in the Napier plan, and we kind of changed it. Number 5, Houday. We'd all forgotten about Houday. Nobody in the world remembered Houday with the Icky Shuffle and everything until this team came along, this Cincinnati team. And it was also evidence that if you do things the right way and you draft properly and you go get guys, you can be good enough to get to a Super Bowl. That means you can win it, and they had a chance to win it. But you can get to a Super Bowl because that's the way the NFL is built. The NFL is built for parity. The NFL is built for you to be able to not be bad forever. That's what happened with Cincinnati. Number 6, Cup Mania, which is I'm the only person apparently affected by it, but I've got Cup Mania. There's no doubt about it. Again, the greatest season ever. And then number 7, South Carolina happened. South Carolina happening changed everything around here. Number 8, Samford almost happened. That changed it a little more. Now, my question is, what was worse, losing to South Carolina or almost losing to Samford? Or it could be losing to UCF was even worse. It's funny how that UCF loss has kind of been forgotten by the Gator Nation, and I think by most people, because it's like, it's all these other guys. So I don't know. It didn't feel like it had much life to it. Number 9, Saban is still here. We know he's coming back for at least one more year, and as long as he's here, everything's the way it is. Number 10, the SEC got richer again. We talked about the $55 million that they gave everybody after giving them $22 in COVID pay. So nice check there, and it's only going to get more. It's only going to be more money coming in. Number 11, so do all quarterbacks, whether you're a college player getting NIL deals or an NFL player, and everybody knows the value of the quarterback. It's never been greater than it is, I think, right now in the sport of football, the value of a quarterback. And number 12, the Orange Bowl doesn't look so bad. Remember when Florida played in the Orange Bowl and they beat Virginia? They didn't play great, but they won the game. And we're like, okay, it's great, yeah. You would love to go back to that moment where you were winning games and not losing them. That is our Alex Wesley Construction 12-pack, putting a wrap on college football season and the NFL. Alex Wesley Construction, love where you live. Let us get to the Adams Ribco to go Gator of the weekend. And I had so many choices, obviously. I could have easily gone with, some of the softball. Cheyenne Lindsay was a real candidate. I was going to go with her, Grand Slam to beat Michigan 4-0. There were a lot of softball players I could have gone with. I certainly could have gone with several other Gators. Fred Bondi, as we mentioned earlier, won the Gator Invitational. Florida won it fairly easily over. And it wasn't like it was chopped liver. I mean, Oklahoma State's third in the country, and Florida handled them pretty easily. But I went with Erin Jackson. And I don't know how many of you know her story, and I really didn't. But Erin Jackson is an amazing story, a University of Florida grad, which makes her a Gator. She went to school here, graduated cum laude, and I think I met her one night. Chris Harry and somebody else and I were out, and we ran into a bunch of people, and we were talking to them, and it turned out they were on a roller derby team in Gainesville. And so I think she might have been one of them, but she was on this roller derby team, and she was a roller derby star, and she also was an inline skating star. But 6 years ago, she decided to try speed skating on ice 6 years ago. And so she gets to this level where she can try to qualify for the Olympics. She slips. She slips in her specialty, the 500 meters. And her teammate, who's also from Ocala, both of them are from Ocala, says, take my spot. You're better than me. I want you to have it. I want you to be at the Olympics. So she goes to the Olympics and she wins a gold medal. She then becomes our Adams Ribco to go Gator of the weekend. Aaron, when you get back from the Olympics, I've only seen one gold medal in person. Steve Messler's. He came to my house for dinner one night. A good friend of mine. In fact, we may get him on the show before the Olympics are over. I'll treat you at Adams Rib to a nice barbecue sandwich, and you can show me your silver medal as well. But congratulations to Gator, Adams Ribco to go Gator of the weekend, Erin Jackson. I don't know how much you are watching of the Olympics. I mean, again, it's kind of hard to get too interested in it only because we don't have any of these sports. And then you find out somebody from Ocala won a gold medal. And Steve Messler, who went to Florida, won a gold medal. I mean, these things have happened. But I'm watching it here and there. My wife is obsessed with it. She loves it. She loves, of course, figure skate and everything like that. So hopefully she'll be watching it tonight on Valentine's Day. All right, finally, I think we've got everything done so far here on Another Dooley Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. I've got it written down here, so it's not like it should flow from the tongue. All right, Hesser and Kipke, the Monday spreads. Not a lot going on this Monday, and I was kind of looking for the early Super Bowl odds for next year, but I didn't find them, but it's okay. But, of course, the Monday spreads are brought to you by Hesser and Kipke, a law firm based in Hale Plantation, specializing in employment, workers' comp, and family law. Visit their website at www.hklawfl.com or call Ken and Jennifer at 352-339-9920. All right, so some games tonight. Virginia is getting 5.5 points at Virginia Tech. And those are, Virginia is kind of a weird team. I've watched a lot of their games this year, and sometimes they look good and sometimes they don't. They're another one of those teams that we'll see what happens to them. Oklahoma State, if you're looking for something to watch, they're playing at Kansas. I don't think they'll win. They are 10.5-point underdogs. That's the spread there. But obviously, if Oklahoma State wins, it would help Florida. I think we're almost beyond the point of worrying about what anybody else is doing. Because what everybody else does, it doesn't matter. If you don't win some big games here down the stretch, you're not going to the tournament. You're going to be in the NIT. You're going to be playing Stetson in the first round at home, and there are going to be 3,000 people there. That's what it's going to be. If that's what you want, play at the level you're playing at. Otherwise, let's go. Let's go beat somebody. Win this game tomorrow night. That game is big. It's a quad 1. Now, it may not hold up as a quad 1, but the worst it's going to be is a quad 2 win. So go win that game on the road. It's going to propel you up, not just on the net, but the way Lenardi is looking at you. Right now, losing by 21 at Kentucky didn't help you at all. The Bulls, our Chicago Bulls, which till last year there was our Oklahoma City Thunder because of Billy. But we love them. They are 5-point favorites against the Spurs at San Antonio. I think the Spurs beat them last time. So that's a good game to pay attention to. And Oregon is a 5-point favorite over Washington State. The Pac-12 is pretty good this year, but it's not deep. They got a couple of good teams at the top, obviously, with UCLA and USC. So that is those are the spreads of the week, but I do want to give you this spread from Hesser and Kipke because I am setting the over-under for Florida right now. Right now, I'm setting it. I'm not going to wait, see who's going to be quarterback. I'm going to tell you the over-under, in my opinion, is 8-4. That's where I'm setting it. You want to think it's going to go over. You may want to think it's going to go under. A lot can happen between now and then, right? I think possibly on next Monday's show, Evan, I will do the over-unders for the other teams in the SEC. Yeah, I may do that. Yeah, so... Yeah, well, we want to keep talking football. I mean, just because football is all completely over. And, Coach Spurrier and I, we love the USFL. It was the greatest thing in the world. This is not the USFL. This is something else. I don't know what it is. They can call it that, but it doesn't mean it's it. All right, so that's going to do it for our show today. Cut out a minute early. It'll be all right. Plus, my wife's calling me on how do they know? It's only my family that calls me during the podcast. All right, we will be back on Friday again with Andy Staples. Look forward to that, having him on. He'll be in studio here at the Meldon Law Gator Studios, and look forward to that as well. So we'll be back then, and then Coach Spurrier again on next Monday. So keep it going. We appreciate all of you for being with us, and thanks so much. Until next time, I am Pat Dooley. I am deep, I am way back, and I am out of here.